Most entrepreneurs are obsessed with doing more, but almost none of us stop to check if our mindset can actually carry the vision. I'm slowing down to run my own visionary mindset check with you, and I'm not hiding from the uncomfortable parts. I'm sharing a raw, honest reflection of where I stand in my own business and life. If you're ready for your own mindset audit, check the link in the description to grab your own copy of the Visionary Readiness Handbook.
The question in the mindset reflection says, are you grounded in your why? Are you aware of the internal narratives that may be driving hesitation or otherwise? Are you cultivating the kind of self-trust needed to move through resistance? My response is, if I were writing this even just a year ago, I would have thought that I have gotten a hold of the subconscious narratives that were holding me back. Life has a funny way of exposing what you still need to work on, and for me, it has been learning to let go of operating from a place of lack as a means to get to abundance. I had to learn to let go of scarcity mentality that told me that I need to survive and sacrifice through my journey of building wealth. But now, as I continue to find myself, I take the lessons that humbled me to now strengthen my purpose, that is to deliver a message to the world that will ignite the conviction in their hearts in a way that will garner them to live their fullest potential. That means operating from a perpetual state of abundance myself. Disruption may follow intention, but my intention gives me dominion over my assignment. That's a blend of every mindset video that I've learned in a way that lets me fulfill my assignment. I am passionate about getting your mind right and being intentional and being purposeful in the ways that we operate. I think it's so much deeper than, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? And it's also so much deeper than what major you want to pick in your degree. That all led me to wanting to drive a deeper conversation, which is why I even started in film. But even as I navigated through the film world, I was like, no, it's deeper than this, and really looking to see what that is for me and how I want to turn that into a business. And when I first started in this realm of like, I want to help people unlock their fullest potential, unlock their business consciousness, and be a consultant, I wasn't taken seriously. I know I operate or have operated with a chip on my shoulder to feel like I have to prove myself, whether that's because of my age, whether that's because of the way that I think, whether that's because I'm a woman. It doesn't matter. It's all those preconceived notions that have been inside of me, and proving myself to feel like I have a sense of worth stems from feeling like I always didn't have enough, seeking that out and being shut out at every corner. Had a lasting impression on me that's finally withering away when I realized as long as I keep putting in the groundwork to create a system, that it'll pay off on its own. So that's where my state of mind is now as I write this, almost 2 years after I created this handbook. So now coming back to it and learning a little bit deeper of where I'm at mentally has been really helpful. So now I'm gonna go over the checklist because my answers have changed. So it's cool to know that even a year later, how so much can change. That shows the growth. It's cool to know that this is something that I can continue to return to and see how my answers have changed over time. So my foundational checklist. Do I feel emotionally and mentally prepared to take action on this idea? Absolutely. Why do I know that? I've been taking action on it for the past, started Visions almost 3 years ago now. And then last year, out of the state of like, I need to figure something out, is when I was like, okay, let me put my all into this. And it's funny because it was when I was able to still burn off some savings, and now having burned through all of that, I'm even more double down on it, but more so because of the fulfillment that it brought me and the impact I've been able to make on the clients that I were able to have last year. And Visions turned into so much. Like, that was just the launch pad. Have I identified any limiting beliefs or fears that may be influencing my momentum? Feeling like I have to, as Garrett B. Gunderson says, scrimp and save. I felt like I couldn't use any money until I made some money, which is true, but if I were to do it all over again, I'd pour so much into my business and my craft. Not that I wasn't doing that before, but now that I've gained more insight on where to seek knowledge and how to hire, what to look for when hiring, where to invest. I still would invest in expanding my knowledge and mindset, so I still pay for seminars any day. I'd still pay to go to a conference, but I would now focus on paying to get my time back. I didn't know that before. I used to want to do everything by myself, but I bottlenecked myself to such a degree where I burnt myself out every 2 months. Now breaking past that to let go of the idea of I rather save money over saving my time, now reversing that narrative, I rather use my money to save my time, I think it's really gonna make a big difference moving forward. I understand why this project matters to me, but beyond external validation. I've already lost a lot of support in a way of feeling like I need to seek validation for anyone outside of me. I got really bold with what I stand for and creating my boundaries around what I stand for. As of last year, I completely stopped budging. If you challenge my values and you want me to bend my values for any circumstance, I'm not doing it. It can be a very harsh reality, especially for people who are used to me being free-going and vibey. And I've gotten very clear on my intentions and the steps that I need to take to step into that person. The projects that I do, the work that I take on is very, very, very selective. And if that means I have to walk away from money, I've said it before, not all money is good money. And I'm willing to do that as long as it upholds the integrity of anything that I do in any business across the board. Know that the right team, the right people, the right partners will come if they align, and if not, they weren't meant to come my way anyways. I hope that as I'm even going through this process, you can see how brutally honest you have to get. You're only gonna get as much out of this handbook as you're ready to get out of it. I know that's kind of counterintuitive to say, but I hope that when more people go through this, they can start questioning and saying out loud as they're checking these things off, what is something that's limiting them? What's something that I didn't want to admit? For me, I didn't want to admit that I was so financially insecure that everything that I was operating under was a means to get out of it. That's what I mean by I lost everything. If I were to just be it's not forever, this is where I'm at, as opposed to trying to cover it up, I think I would have been better off. But we're here now. It's meant to be part of my journey and my path so that I can grow stronger and better. That's really the whole point of this, is to recognize that anything that you're hiding, now it's time to step out of that. Am I aware of the energetic cost of my project and have created space for rest and renewal? I'm not going to check that box just because I literally just told my boyfriend that I need to be better at taking breaks. Seriously taking breaks. I don't realize when I am exhausted. I don't realize when to stop because I want to keep going. And before it used to come from, I don't have enough time. I feel like I have to get it done. It was very frantic. Now it's, I sincerely love what I'm doing and I want to get to that next point. But if my brain isn't functioning, then I can't do that. So I'm gonna leave that blank for now, only because I understand the energetic cost, but I haven't quite created space for rest and renewal, so I do have to keep that in mind. Am I mentally prepared to evolve alongside the vision of my business? Absolutely. I had a friend tell me that I'm intimidating. I know this is gonna be weird, but this is how it came out. I can be very intimidating because I come off as someone who is very set in their ways. I'm set in my ways because I've seen and observed and expanded on every other outcome that's possible, as well as reflecting on how it relates to my values. And if it doesn't align to my value, what road is it going to go down? If it does align to my values, what road does it go down? If I break my boundaries, what's the result of what am I compromising as a result of that? I've thought through all of that before I even open my mouth. That's why I usually don't say anything until I've explored and processed every possible outcome of how a situation can occur. And if I'm wrong, I want to be right. What I thought yesterday might not be the same as today because I learned something new. I added deeper context as to how I need to shape and how I need to continue to change in my ways so that I don't make that same mistake again. But I can acknowledge where I went wrong. I have no problem doing that and making changes where necessary. Do I feel grounded in my role, not just in what I'm doing, but who I'm being in the process? I gotta read that again. That's a pretty deep question. You have to be the person before you do the thing to become the person. I do feel grounded in my role. I use myself as a test experiment to see if the role that I am creating is meant to serve a greater purpose. I don't like to preach on things that I can't back or things that I haven't lived through or experienced. And if I do, I want to be as honest as I solemnly can. And that's been the purpose of my YouTube, is holding that accountability. Now it's just me being out loud saying, I'm gonna get to this point, and being more direct with my goals and seeing where that takes me. If I make it, cool. If I don't, shoot, I know I'm gonna land somewhere in the stars. But that's a continual process. I'm gonna leave it blank. Even though it's like, yes, but there's more work to be done. Next one. I trust my vision, knowing I've done and continue to do the inner work, even if others don't fully understand it. Through and through. The disruption follows intention has been so real all of last year that I've finally come to accept that not everyone's gonna understand me, and that's okay. I've had several iterations of this throughout my lifetime, and while it was fulfilling to see a full circle moment of those who did misunderstand me come back around and say they get where I'm coming from, that's not exactly what I live for. What I do live for, though, is seeing that light bulb come on in somebody's head to say that they've been able to make a turnaround in their life and have been enlightened by the lessons that they once saw, and them coming back and sharing that with me. I live for that. And if there's anything that I can do to help guide in that direction, to help you step into the best person that you can possibly be, that's what I'm here for. So if you understand me the first time, cool. If you misunderstand me the first time, cool. That's all about the adjustment. But anyways, I'm gonna check that off. I think I'm good on that. And the best part about this is for you and you yourself to keep. Why wouldn't you be honest? Anyways, last one. I'm asking you these questions, but these are all statements. And I'm going to say it in a statement because the second part feels like it needs to be a statement. I am aware of limiting systems and narratives and will not allow them to shift the energy or direction of my work. I am so ready on that. Have you heard of people talking about being in the matrix or feeling like they're glitching out of the matrix? I've had several moments like that where I'm hearing people speak on why, for example, Black women can't operate in a specific way because of the systems that are put in place. And it's a difficult conversation for me to insert myself into sometimes because I'm half Black, half Japanese. I'm also light skinned, and what I experience is completely different from my sisters that are not half, that are fully melanated. And so I do hesitate, but I've also seen incredible women who do fit that mold be incredibly successful. And I think that staying true and being firm and understanding your narrative as it relates to you helps you break out of that system. At this point in my life, I know that this is all programming, and whatever you want to tell me to make me focus on lack goes all the way back to the book of Genesis when the serpent convinced Eve to eat the apple. God put that in the Bible. That's already been documented, that's the first manipulation that human has ever experienced, and it's something that we continue to struggle to break out of. But this is why I do this work, to help people break out of that matrix. Anybody that wants to come to me saying that there's a limitation, I still have things that I need to work on with that, because I've expressed the financial insecurity, feeling like I didn't have the resources. Like, I'm breaking out of that myself, but I've made a decision to not let that rule the direction of where I'm going. Whatever God has set out for me to do, I have my role and I'm going to fulfill it regardless. That's that. So I feel pretty good about that. When it comes to mindset, and up here I said, before any strategy, idea, or execution, there's you. Mindset is the inner foundation that determines how your vision takes form. This pillar invites you to check in with the beliefs, patterns, and emotional readiness that shape your capacity to lead, create, and build. Go through this section and see what areas are working for you, what's missing, and where you need work. This is mindset. I hope me walking through my own handbook has been helpful to help you get a better understanding of where to start, what to ask yourself, what to release when it comes to being visionary ready when it starts up here. So, thanks so much.